Jurgen Klopp, perhaps without Darwin Núñez, to add to injuries to Diogo Jota, Luis Diaz, Roberto Firmino and Virgil van Dijk as well. But I don't know if you saw his press conference yesterday. We've spoken a little bit about Jurgen Klopp, and he does get a little angry at times. And he seemed to be a bit angry in his press conference because I think he was asked the question of, are you going to dip into the transfer market once again because of the injuries that you have? And he was not happy necessarily with the question, because I think the person asking the question, and forgive me, I'm not sure who it is, maybe is a regular in these news conferences. Yeah. And Jurgen is like, come on, how many times do I have to answer this question? You've asked me this time and time again. Let's actually hear from him, because this is what he had to say about the transfer business that Liverpool could do in January, and it doesn't seem as though it's a realistic option for him.
Now I have to tell you again the money story. Really? Do I have to tell it again? And that's why. What could be the reason that we have money like crazy, but we don't buy the players even when they are available? That's what you think of me after all the years? So why you ask a question where the answer lies on a table? I really don't understand that. I really don't understand that. You stand here you drove here, or I don't know how you came here, and then now you stand here, and this is the question I ask you. You know the answer. And if I would answer now, sit here, no, we have money in the bank. Massively, I don't know what to do with, but the players out there, we don't do that. So, but we have on top of that the problem that in a moment, 4 of our offensive players are injured. It's like strikers. So we buy another one, then they come back. Thankfully, not tomorrow, but they will come back. Darwin soon, the others a little bit later, and they come back. And we have 7 strikers then. We couldn't even put them all on a Champions League list.
Okay. I mean, I get where he's coming from, in fairness. You know, yes, they do have injuries to their forward options, Cass, but there's only so many forwards you can fit in when they're all fit. So in a way, maybe it is a bit pointless to ask a question of, will you bring somebody in to replace these injured players, for example, when they're all back and fit? How are you going to fit them in anyway? But as we mentioned before, Núñez is out. So too is a doubt, certainly, for this trip to Brighton. But there's certainly without Jota, Diaz and Firmino, as well as Virgil van Dijk being out with injury. And this season for Liverpool, I mean, where do you start with where it's all gone a little pear-shaped for them?
Well, for me, when I did a prediction at the start of the season, I had Liverpool coming second this year. And after game 1 of Fulham away, I felt very differently quite quickly.
Just from one game?
No, and it's not just that game. I felt I didn't think about it long enough, because I thought the consequence of the end of last season and challenging on all fronts was a problem that could filter into this season. Their pre-season was affected. In Thailand, they got beat 4-0 by Man United. And you can go, like I did, it's a friendly. It's a pre-season game.
It wasn't a strong Liverpool, was it?
No, and it wasn't a strong Liverpool. But there were results very quickly that made me more concerned. We finished 34 points ahead of Man United last year in the Premier League. Right. They're now in front of us. Yeah. So there's change-arounds and there's catch-up, but 34 points in front of Man United at the end of last season. We are not the same side. And yes, we've had injuries. We've had lots of them. But then you could argue, well, many clubs have injuries, so that's not really a valid one that stands up. The problem has been that Liverpool have become too easy to play against. And that has been the major issue. I said at the very start, the Thiago situation or position on the pitch is vital for Liverpool's success. He has to be the one that takes control of every game. And what's happened is teams are countering Liverpool. Liverpool way too open and they're getting punished. Up until last weekend, really, with Alisson's had to pull off save after save after save. Liverpool have faced more one-on-ones than any other team in the Premier League. That is a problem. You can't, they couldn't win that ball back quick enough, and they're slightly off it now. And to see that gap being bridged by Man United, and as we stand today, United, 7 points?
7 points,
7 points clear of Liverpool?
Yeah.
Look, things can change in football, and Liverpool have got a fantastic squad of players. At the moment, I can't see. I think all Liverpool fans will be very nervous about the Brighton game today. But I've been nervous all season, Nat.
Well, I was going to ask...
I have. I've spoke to you about it.
Yeah, very much so. And I was going to ask you about that because their away record this season is obviously not really up to Liverpool's standard. 2 away wins from their 8 games that they've played on the road. They've only scored 11 goals as well in those 8 games. Listen, every team can go through a bad patch of form, but when you're only winning 2 games away from home of a Liverpool side that we expect to be competing at the top end of the table, that has to be alarming for Jurgen Klopp.
I think the alarm bells have been rang numerous times this season. You know, Brentford was not a surprise to me. I didn't. Obviously, you'd favour Liverpool, but then you think about it and you think, well, the way Brentford play, and they've got high energy in midfield, and they like to get forward, they can cause Liverpool problems, because Brighton did it in a 3-3 draw at Anfield. Wolves did it in a cup game. You know, I've seen Leeds win at Anfield. I've seen Leicester nearly win at Anfield. We've had some terrible results, certainly at Anfield. We've left 7 games all season now in all competitions, which is a problem for Liverpool. And I'm not optimistic about how this season's going to pan out for Liverpool, and adding in the injuries to this squad that's happened.
So when you say optimistic, what's the best you can hope for Liverpool?
I think we'll be 5th or 6th.
So not even top 4?
No, I don't. I don't feel top four's in our grasp. Something has dramatically... We need a change around like Man United have had. You beat them 4-0. And after that 4-0 defeat, there was a reset button at Old Trafford. Things changed. Personnel changed. You know, and for that football club, you can look at their fixtures and go, well, they can win a lot of these games. Well, you could argue that Liverpool could have won a lot of their games. You know, when you're losing to Leeds at home, and you just about get over the line against Leicester, and many other games. Brighton at home, I know Brighton are doing well this year. There's been many dodgy fixtures, Nat, where I just look at them and think Liverpool are just too open to play against.
Okay, but what about and we have this conversation many times, and we've seen it from Liverpool as well. They go on runs, they win games, they then pull themselves out of the mud. You get Jurgen Klopp even saying, we're out of it, we're out of the title race, we're out of the top 4 picture, and then suddenly out of nowhere, there's Liverpool. They've emerged.
Well, I thought that until we played Arsenal away, when they literally... I was at the game at the Emirates.
So you're not even confident they can go on a run to get past the likes of Man United, for example, in the top 4
Okay,
race?
is there any evidence this season of a run? If you go through October, September, November, December...
Well, October, you beat Man City.
Yeah,
okay. To give you some
I'm trying to be
run.
positive about Liverpool, and the facts are that my eyes are telling me something different. I'm watching Liverpool and I'm thinking that the Arsenal defeat, when you're at the stadium and you watch games live, you get a different feel, because you can, you go to Brentford every week, so you get a bird's eye view of watching what's going on, and you can see the energy that you don't quite get on telly from certain positions at times. And Liverpool have been lacking. One-on-ones faced that Alisson has had all season has been a problem.
It's interesting, actually. If I'm looking at their form in the Premier League, and someone might put me right, but I'm pretty sure they've won only 3 in a row once. And this is in the Liverpool side we're expecting to win more often than not.
Unbeaten at this stage last season.
Well, there you go. Yeah, indeed. But you actually have to go before the World Cup break for that start to that 3-game winning run in the Premier League, which was at home to Southampton. Then they resumed on Boxing Day, winning at Aston Villa. Then they beat Leicester. Then they suffered that defeat to Brentford to stop that 3-game winning streak. But that's it, really, when it comes to the Premier League. 3 games in a row is the most they've won. Yeah,
so this season there's no evidence of Liverpool going on a run. Last year there was loads. I felt last season come at a big price, because going on every front until the very last day of the season, and then pre-season got affected. They have not looked right this year, Liverpool. And obviously other issues have come into play as well.